And it's a model that we should all be following. And so he really called upon us to think about that model and try to work together, because that's what makes our country so great. If we work together, there's just no limit to what we can do.
Valerie Jarrett, thanks for joining me tonight from the White House briefing room. Thanks, as always, for your time.
Thank you. Good night, Reverend Sharpton.
Good night. Joining me now, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont. Senator Sanders, thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Now, the president talked about fairness, and we hear a lot of people now raising the issue that you've been raising for years about economic fairness, about we're not saying that there must be equal results, but there certainly should be equal investment and an even playing field. Does this put the Republicans in a bad spot, Senator Sanders?
Absolutely. I mean, they talk about class warfare. The fact of the matter is there has been class warfare for the last 30 years. It's a handful of billionaires taking on the entire middle class and working class of this country. And the result is, Al, that you now have in America the most unequal distribution of wealth and income of any major country on earth, and the worst inequality in America since 1928.
Wow.
How can anybody defend the richest 400 people in this country owning more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million people, and that gap between the people on top and everybody else is growing wider? How would you like to try to defend that?
Well, let me show you. Today, to probably no one's surprise, at least not to your surprise, let me show you what the personalities at Fox News had to say after an inspiring speech, an appeal to fairness. Here's what they had to say.
I didn't get any sense at all of any grand vision that he has for the country, short of igniting these embers of class warfare.
The president using Warren Buffett's secretary to kick off his class warfare campaign in last night's State of the Union address.
Last night, our president declared war on success in the name of this class warfare politics and this envy.
Class warfare seems to be their talking point. And, you know, someone tweeted me today, Senator, something that's very interesting. When they attack working class people and the poor, when they attack people that need assistance, when they attack people that need help, when they attack people who want the right to collective bargaining, when they attack people that want better schools, it's called responsibility. But when those people question why they pay less percentage of tax while they have loopholes, it's called class warfare. So if the rich attack, it's not warfare. If the poor raise a question, it's warfare. There's something funny to me about that scenario.
Well, I think, Al, the Republicans now have a very hard and difficult hand to play. They're very much on the defensive, and they should be. Look, in the last 10 years, 80% of all new income went to the top 1%. And to pick up on your point, you got Republicans out there who want to destroy Medicare. They want to destroy Medicaid at a time when 50 million people have no health insurance at all. That's a death sentence. And yet they see this as a responsible action. The truth of the matter is, and I think the Occupy Wall Street people deserve some of the credit, the American people are catching on that the game is not fair, that the rich are getting richer while everybody else is getting poorer. They want economic policies now which protect the 99% and not just the 1%. Now, there's one point, Al, I thought a lot of what the president said last night was good. Right. There's one point where I have real concerns. You may have heard him talking about his willingness to talk to Republicans about, quote unquote, reform of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Right.
Between you and me, what reform is are cuts. I will strongly oppose that. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, life and death for tens of millions of our people. We've got to defend those programs, not see them cut.
Well, we'll be watching it, Senator, and it is amazing to me how people that need help, children, become a football to play games with in a political contest rather than something that this country should say, how do we elevate and make their lives better? Senator